What's good, y'all? What's up, man? Today, I'm talking about the importance of knowing God for yourself, right? We have to know God's voice for ourselves. We can't rely on the pastor. We can't rely on our grandmother, our father, our mother, our brother, whoever. It has to be me and God have a relationship. I know what God sounds like. I know me and God, like, we got a thing, right? Me and Mrs. Jones, right? And this ties into John 10, 27, 28, where it talks about, Jesus says, my sheep know my voice, and no man can take them out of my hand, right? He says, my sheep know my voice. No man can take them out of my hand. Because then in those last days, there are going to be many people saying, lo, Christ is there, Christ is here. And he says, don't go. So this is letting y'all know that people are going to be telling you to go in this direction and that direction to find Christ. And it's not always necessarily going to be to go into a physical direction. It's not always going to be, oh yeah, go to Atlanta, Jesus is over there. But it's going to be spiritually. You'll find Jesus if you meditate. You'll find Jesus if you fast for however long. You'll find Jesus if that you can easily get enlisted into a league of the demonic by relying on others people's experience with Christ to make your own experience with Christ. I'm not saying don't listen to people and take what's good. Close your eyes and listen for God in people. I was in church the last time I went to church on Sunday. I closed my eyes and I looked away from the pastor for a majority of the time he was preaching, as opposed to how I usually look and like whatever, and like, I'm showing him I'm attentive and listening. But today, well, that day I was like, and I was listening. I'm listening because we had a little men's meeting at the church. Some of the ushers and one of the other dudes, and I was there too. And we was just talking like Bible study and just talking about spiritual stuff. And they was telling me like, yeah, like the pastor is just a man. At the end of the day, we respect him. That's bro. Like he's doing his job to feed the sheep, but that's just a man up there. That is just a man. Don't glamorize him, don't idolize him, don't think everything that comes out of his mouth is going to be true. And it's like, yeah, we know these things, I already know that, but when you hear it come from somebody else, it adds another gravity, another layer of sediment on top of it, to be like, yeah, let me make sure I'm truly filtering with my heart, with my ears, what is being spoken into me and what I'm hearing and what I'm receiving. Let me, while he's preaching, okay, where's God? Let me see if I can hear God in it. Like, filter, right? Filter. We need to know the Lord's voice for ourselves. We need to hear the Lord speaking to us for ourselves. I'm gonna share this. I just came off a fast. It's the first time I did an extended fast. It was it was supposed to be a 7-day fast, but I broke at 6, right? And I broke at 6. I broke just last night because I was going into it. I went into it with pure intentions, but along the way, my idea behind it, what I would gain from fasting, right, it became impure. And when I prayed last night, like to end my night, like it was already like it was getting tough, right? This is my first extended fast, and like I wasn't just like no food, no whatever, like no food off the back. Like I was like tiny portions of bread, like at the end of the day, like just to hold me over. If I had work, a tall glass of water with a little bit of juice in it and stuff. Like I'm not just gonna kill my body, like do that to myself. But I started to feel that last day, day 6, I started to feel like the strain on like my heart. My heart was getting strained, my eyes was getting strained. Like I was beginning to feel it, and it was like, it was a matter of humbling myself, right? Because I'm in this mindset of like, and I'm gonna be 100. Like I'm always trying to be 100 on this channel, as hard as it may be for me to reveal myself, to show my shame, right? That I was in this mindset of like, oh, God's consecrating me, God set me apart, God, he called me to this fast. And I do believe God called me to this fast, because of all the things that he showed me during it. He showed me more about love, how to love correctly, because we know in 1 Corinthians 13, I was in my Bible a lot, right? I was doing all the things I was supposed to be doing. So like 1 Corinthians in the 13th chapter, Paul talks about it doesn't matter if you have the faith to move mountains. If you don't have love, it's in vain. You can prophesy the best prophecies, but if you don't have love, it's in vain. You can give everybody all your possessions. You can set yourself on fire and burn up for people. If you don't have love, it's in vain, right? So God was showing me these things about love and how to love. Take a genuine interest in people and strangers. It doesn't mean take them into your life as best friends, like sinners. Like I'm not about to sit here and like put a bunch of sinners in my circle and like be, you know, whatever, I can still love them though. I can still take a genuine interest in their life and put that love of Christ onto them, right? So he's showing me about love. He's showing me about cleanliness, keeping all your stuff in order, showing me about keeping hold of your Adamic responsibilities, right? Don't be so heavenly minded you're no earthly good. Make sure you're still doing what you need to be doing. Keep your house in order. Make sure you cut your grass. Like, just doing all that stuff. And it was like he was really pruning me and showing me these things. And this last thing that like he really hammered into me was humility. Like, you really think that you're gonna sit here and because you fasted 7 days that makes you more of a qualified vessel than the person that doesn't fast? You think that's how it works? You think because I'm not coming against anybody fasting. Like, I'll probably fast some other days because I still do feel the benefit of it. Maybe like a 3-day fast of like humbling myself, cutting out food, detoxing, and also just like seeking God and like this bounce back. Like, I get God a lot more. I understand him a bit more. I'm not saying I got the whole picture, but like I get him a bit more. I feel him a bit more. I'm more appreciative of the things in life and like vibrancy. Like, I feel great, right? So like, but so you think because you fast or you're gonna complete this 7-day fast that means like, oh, here are your keys. Good job, sir. You completed your 7-day fast certificate. This means that you are now eligible for da-da-da-da-da-da. You can redeem this at the nearest church. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I was praying and he was just showing me. He was like, you really think this is how it works? You really think that just because you about to pull off a 7-day fast that that made you step up on the spiritual leaderboards? Like, that's what you think this is? It's all through God. It is all through God. Humble yourself and realize it is all through God. It is not about what you do in this flesh. It is not about what you do in this flesh. It's not. It's not. A donkey could talk, right? I believe it's Balaam. Balaam's donkey talked. It's not about what you do in this flesh. God can use anything, anybody, whatever. Like, if he has to, it's not about what you do in this flesh. Keep yourself humble. Don't fall into this pride, right? We know it's Pride Month. Pride comes before the fall. I was listening to this one video my friend sent me, and he was saying that the root of pride is victimhood. You think you deserve something. You think that somebody did you wrong. So you feel entitled to such and such and such. You feel entitled to being celebrated. You feel entitled to being blessed by God because I had such a hard life, so it's only right that God's gonna pride, right? So I'm trying to be the humblest. I did Bible study with my grandma yesterday, right? Like, I didn't go to the church. I was like I'm already like, my grandma was looking at me. She's like, bro, you getting thin. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm not enjoying it. I'm not having the greatest time. But I felt like it was what God was calling me to, and I know he was calling me to it, and he showed me so much things. But before I even talk about the Bible study, when I was doing that prayer, and then I sat there and I saw the crossroads, and it was like, now, either you're going to humble yourself and you're going to break this fast and you're going to go eat food because you realize it's not about anything that you do in your flesh that qualifies you more. Obviously, don't be a sinner. But it's not about anything that you can use to exalt your righteousness. It's all through Jesus. It's all through God. That's what it's about. Or, so you can break your fast and humble yourself, or you can be stiff-necked, you can be hard-headed and say, Lord, I'm gonna complete this 7-day fast because I know it's what you want me to do. My body is God, you got me. You'll sustain me. Like, you got me, even though my heart feeling funny, my eyes, whatever. And like, I'm really struggling like through this last day. Like, this is that last day. And like, whatever. So I'm like, what road are you gonna take? I'm asking God. I'm like, God, who am I? Who am I? Like, what am I? Who am I? Like, God. And then that's where that crossroads came from. Either you're gonna humble yourself beneath God, or you're gonna say, no, I can. There's power to be gained by this flesh, right? This flesh can. I can use the arm of the flesh and the arm of the spirit, right? You get what I'm saying? So, just that crossroads, and I was like, Lord, I'm about to eat, like, and you're not supposed to break a fast like ridiculously and go, but I was like, bro. Devil was tempting me the whole time I was fasting. I was in my room by myself smelling all sorts of foods that I ain't eating for. I was smelling ribs, smelling pizza, smelling muffins, smelling daggone Chick-fil-A. Like, bro, I'm like, losing it, right? Losing it. I'm like, bro, what the heck? But so I studied my grandma yesterday. She's a Jehovah's Witness, but I'm just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care about this denomination stuff. I don't. If you're speaking out of the Bible, and I have enough knowledge in myself to know, to discern and listen for God, right? They still speak the truth. Yeah, there's a lot, there's some delusion in there, right? That's a whole separate video. But I'm not gonna cast stones at witnesses. I'm not casting stones at anybody. I'm humble, because if I let he without sin cast the first stone. Who are we to be casting stones at all these people like we do on YouTube? Who are we to be casting all these stones, throwing all these stones? Let he who is without sin throw the first stone. Who am I to condemn the witnesses? If somebody's doing blatant sin and blatantly misleading somebody, saying that Jesus isn't Lord and stuff like that, okay, yeah, even then I'm not gonna throw a stone, right? Even then, the Lord can't avenge himself. So I'm humbling myself. I'm taking the low man's road. And there's so much beauty and so much strength and so much freedom in saying, Lord, I'm just flesh. I'm just human, right? There's a scripture in, I believe, Isaiah. It says, like, I ain't even gonna try. It's like something about flesh being like flowers or something like that. I don't know. It makes sense in my mind, right? But I'm glad that I'm human, because, Lord, the responsibility is yours. Respectfully. Like, I'm your child. I'm your son. I'm not. If Jesus called you Abba, which is like daddy, papa, that super endeared term of calling to your father, who am I to say, Lord, I want to be a bit more than a child. I want to mature a bit. Like, yeah, I want to mature spiritually, but I want to mature a bit to where I'm a bit, I'm a bit older than the other children, and I'm a bit more tough. Yeah, but there's a certain line with it, right? We want to be spiritually mature. We want to graduate from milk to meat, but not in the sense that God is not Abba. He's always going to be Abba, always. And I want him to stay Abba. I want him to stay Abba, because that's where we're safest. We're safest underneath his wings, not thinking that our flesh can do anything. Stay out of God's way. Keep your flesh out the way, unless you want to get it chopped up, right? Unless you want to get it caught up in the judgment. Keep your flesh out the way. Keep your pride out the way. Keep yourself in check. Humble yourself before God. But I just wanted to share this experience. I know it's going to bless somebody. I know it will. I ain't even going to say I hope. I know it will. Peace, love, always.